I've been called a lesbian more times than I can count. Not in anger, not as an insult, but somehow people just think that I'm gay. They will ask my parents in hushed voices at family functions, "Is Melissa?" When I was in high school, it made me laugh. I did theater and had a lot of gay friends, so I figured my older relatives thought it was catching. I would explain to them that no, I was not a lesbian, and tell them about whatever boy I was dating at the moment. My room was covered with pictures of Backstreet Boys and NSYNC. I was boy crazy, like most straight high school girls, but somehow this kept coming up. Sure, I was a thrift store hipster. I ironically owned and wore lots of little boys' t-shirts with Power Rangers or dump trucks on them. Did this qualify me as a lesbian? Sure, my favorite shoes were my ratty Converse that all my friends had signed. But did wearing a pair of size 4 boys' shoes make me want to kiss girls? I loved dresses and skirts too. I did my hair and painted my nails, all things that seemed traditionally straight to me. But somehow, every year around Christmas, there were raised eyebrows and whispered questions. Even my parents had doubts. I'm pretty sure my mom has always secretly wished I was more straight. My senior year, I wanted to wear sneakers to prom. She refused. Despite the fact that they were the most adorable shoes I have ever seen, and had a blue glitter swoosh that matched my dress perfectly, she deemed them inappropriate for prom. What the hell is appropriate anyway? It's prom, who cares? We were kids. We were kids dressing up in ridiculous dresses and pretending to be celebrities. We rented limos and spent way too much money on ridiculous meals that we couldn't even really appreciate. If that's appropriate, why can't I wear sneakers? I'm sure she was secretly filing away this story as evidence for when I finally came out. One day she'd be able to say with a knowing smile, "I always knew. Remember the prom sneakers?" My dad was gathering evidence too. I can remember countless fights about the politics of the day. We both love to argue, especially about politics, and LGBT rights have been a hot topic in the course of my lifetime. Between Don't Ask, Don't Tell, DOMA, marriage equality, hate crime laws, and the stories of teen suicide, equal rights comes up a lot. My dad's opinions certainly have evolved on the subject, and now he's a pretty big supporter of the LGBT community. But it used to be something we got pretty heated about. And being a 14-year-old girl, sometimes I would come to tears, mostly out of frustration. And every time, like clockwork, he'd gently ask, "Are you?" And I'd roll my eyes and shake my head. "No, Dad, if I was, I'd just tell you." I think he was hoping for a tearful, touching coming-out story, at the end of which we'd hug and he'd get to tell all his friends at work what a great dad he was and how much he supported his lesbian daughter. It drives me crazy. Not because I find being called gay an insult, but because I find it insulting that they think that I'm closeted. If I were gay, I would be the outest, proudest lesbian you had ever met. It makes me sad to think about people who can't accept themselves, and I pride myself on my pride. I like myself. I like myself a lot. I think I'm awesome. My best friend is fond of saying there are 2 eyes in Missy, which, despite not being true, displays how great I think I am. So, for people to think that I'd be the sort of lesbian who couldn't be out and proud is frustrating. It makes me feel like they don't really know me, because if I were a lesbian, I'd be so into it. It's not until I went to college that it finally clicked, that I finally started to understand why people were making this assumption about me. These people weren't attacking my sexuality. It had nothing to do with whether or not I liked men or women. What they were challenging was my status as a woman. How could a woman be so confident, so outspoken, so independent? They felt the need to label me as gay because to them, only lesbians could be complete without a man. They needed to put me in a box, to label me as something because I had rejected so many of the labels of what it meant to be a girl. My heroes were Rosie the Riveter, not Betty Crocker, Eve Ensler, not June Cleaver, Hillary Clinton, not the Real Housewives of Anywhere. Not that there's anything wrong with Betty and June, they're just not me. I'm bad at being a girl, and it's easier for people to label me as a lesbian than what I really am. I'm a feminist. Always have been, always will be. Even before I knew that word, I knew that I wanted a life different from the one that was expected of me. I wanted more choices than those offered to girls, and I wanted all girls to have those choices. Once I put it all together, the lesson was really disturbing. People couldn't believe that I could be a straight feminist. They didn't exist in their mind. Literally. I did a Google image search and got nothing. That because I believed in equality for women, that I must be attracted to them. These people, my family, believed that straight women, because of their attraction to men, couldn't be complete without them. We have a long way to go, ladies, and many more battles to fight. If you think sexism is dead, come to my house at Thanksgiving.